All right, all right. All right, fam. Welcome back to the Going Out podcast. It's officially episode 5. It's been a little bit of a minute, but I'm so excited because today I got two very cool people that I'm close to, folks that I've worked for a couple years now here in the city. Shea and Will. Let's give them a big round of applause. Welcome to the show.
What's good? Trying to fix myself over here.
So just to give a little bit more background on my guests, they are the owners of Explicit Bistro Lounge, but they're also been involved in a couple other venues around here and in the Raleigh area. And I think they also got some other things going on beyond the nightlife business. So we're going to talk about that. I want to get the unique perspective on, what it's like working together, not only as, in a business partnership, but particularly as a romantic couple, which I think is pretty cool. So we'll definitely get your unique perspective on that. And then we'll also talk a little bit about Explicit, your history, how you got started, and your experience there. Sounds good?
Dope.
Let's get it.
All right. So Shea and Will, first off, welcome to the show. Thanks so much for coming out. I know it was like a hell of a ride coming out here, but maybe start by just talking to the podcast about your experience so far and being in business, particularly as a couple. I think a lot of people, you see online, they talk about couples goals and things like that, and really be able to like get into business with their significant other. And I think that's a pretty cool thing that y'all have been able to do and accomplish everything that y'all done so far together. So maybe just tell us a little bit about what it's like so far and what's been your experience doing this together.
Ladies first. Sorry, I'm trying to adjust my headphones.
Our experience together. We have had a long journey. We have been at Explict for 6 years, but prior to that, a lot of people don't know, me and Will are actually going on like 10 years. So our experience has just been a blessing more than anything. And it's definitely been a journey. I mean, it hasn't been perfect. I mean, we've seen different waves, ups, down, but more than anything, it's been a blessing. So
No doubt.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like the journey has been it's been like something that you can never really even put into words, because some of the experiences you could really never prepare for. But like she said, we kind of found our own way, and we had a common goal of what we wanted to do, that we set out to do, and we kind of we resonated, and we knew we wanted something more, and we just had an instant connection from a business standpoint, a respect for like not just nightlife but hospitality, and whatever I lacked, she made up for, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So it was a good trade-off just for like what we wanted to accomplish, and the biggest indicator was the elevation once we connected, because progress was always good, but when we connected, it kind of hit lightning speed. As far as just like the progress. So the results, and I don't think neither one of us expected that.
Right.
So I think like far as like, you kind of just jump in initially with no expectations, but you get the confirmation by the result.
Right.
So I feel like that's kind of the kind of high level of our kind of, progression over time.
absolutely, we're definitely more powerful together.
I agree.
That's cap. Nah, that's real.
So, Will, something that you mentioned there that I want to tap into, you talked about trade-offs, right? And I'm interested in knowing, like, how do y'all balance each other? How do y'all work together in that regard? How does that work for y'all?
So, if we being real, it's always a challenge when it's somebody you're in a relationship, marriage, and business with. I don't care what anybody says. So let's just get the disclaimer out the way.
Yeah.
That's a challenge. But the trade-off is just, I feel like whatever I lack, she has. Like, for instance, Shae is like an organization freak. Like, she's very organized. She's real good at paperwork. She does it. It could take me days to do what she could do in an hour.
Yeah.
So she's so organized. And, from a business professional standpoint, that was like my biggest like thing I was lacking. And so I feel like in business, you always have to have an accountability partner. So also she keeps me on track, because like when you're on your own, you're more like freelancing, and that's the hard challenge of being an entrepreneur, is that time, sometimes like you can just like kind of, you could think you're doing good, but that's because nobody's checking your paper.
Right.
So I have somebody to check my paper. She'd be like, "Get your lazy ass up, get to work. Like, what are you doing? You fat slob. You need to do this." I'm like, dang, you know. But seriously, like we all need that. Like it's called tough love. So I feel like that's good. Like for me, from a personal like relationship standpoint, you know, like she holds the house now too. You know, so she'll cook, she'll do this and that. She's not a big cleaner, so I'm the cleaner. Look, when I first met her and I saw her house, I was like, it's a wrap more. But I love to clean. I'm very strategic. I'm the forward thinker in this like whole thing. Like
I just be having a lot of clothes and shoes and shit everywhere.
I'd be like, y'all ever seen that show Hoarders?
Oh yeah, right.
Nah, she's gotten a lot better. But that's the crazy thing. Like when you're around somebody long enough, you're gonna pick up on like traits. So like she knows how it feels when she would go out of town or be working all week, and she would come home and I would have like the house like super clean. She would just be like, wow, like, and she would go out of town. I would like wash her car and fill it up, and it would just be like so many little things. So just when you have like a person that's making sure you're good, that's like the biggest benefit. Like she makes sure I'm good. So she holds stuff down. Like we do something called like a TDL, and it's like our to-do list for the week. And some weeks we have great weeks where everything gets knocked off, and some weeks we don't even look at it for 2 weeks. You know, so But the thing is, we always kind of get back. We might veer off, but we always kind of find our way back. So to answer your question, I feel like the biggest trade-off is just that, you know, she helps to keep me in line and I help to keep her in line. And it's not like, you know, in the beginning, I feel like it was a power struggle, but look at it this way. Like, you know, when you turn us back to back, she's watching my back, I'm watching hers. And it's so much better than like having to do it yourself, because like in this industry, like it's impossible. Like you can't do this by yourself. I don't care what nobody say. You have to have a team.
Indeed.
Even if you're not in a relationship with, you have to have you got to have somebody guarding you, because it's so many different things coming from so many different ways. And the biggest thing she was for me, and I'll let her answer because I don't want to steal all the thunder, but like she kind of helped, you know, she was my eyes, because I was very nice, naive. I just used to just let think everybody was like me. Oh, this and that. She would, because she has a bullshit filter or something that I wasn't built with. So she'd be like, "Will, why, Will, don't." And then anytime I didn't listen to her, I paid for it.
Yeah.
But when I did, I was like, "Wow, thank you. I dodged a bullet." So like the result over time, like you see that this person is not just in your life, like just like anybody else. Like this is somebody different that, you know, had to be for a different purpose, because how things are progressing with them versus how they progress on your own.
Yeah. I think at first me and Will didn't really like realize how much alike we really are. Like me and Will are so much alike.
In what sort of ways?
Just our drive, just what we want out of life, just who we are as people. We're alike in so many ways, and I think at first that's why it was like such a power struggle for us, because me and him are so much alike. In the same sense, we're different, but we're alike as well. But I think now we kind of understand each other to where like one day, you know, we can't stand each other and it's this and that, but you know, in all actuality, you know, we know what it is. So very alike, very similar, but we're more alike than we are different.
Yeah. And just to add to that, I feel like you don't know if something is real till it's tested.
Yeah.
And what the two things that do that are adversity and time, and then, you know, different circumstances. And so I knew she was real because I went through adversity with her. Like she said, it would be times we would have a full-fledged argument, but guess what? She wouldn't miss work. She would be there. She would show up
every day.
And even if she didn't talk to me, she still made sure the business stuff was intact, and she still made sure I was good. Same with me. Like I would be mad at her, I would still make sure she was good. So I feel like when you get stuff like that, it lets you know it's real, and it's different, and it's something you have to like, you know, you have to hold to like a higher standard.
Yep.
And I think that's the right way to do it. Like when you're in a relationship or any kind of partnership, right? You have to be able to like, disagree, have that tension, have that conflict, because sometimes resolution comes out of that, right? You mentioned that she was your eyes, and I'm pretty sure like in a lot of situations, she wouldn't have been able to tell you things if you didn't have that kind of conflict. So,
Yep.
I think that's a wonderful thing. But tell me a little bit more about the power struggles. I'm interested in that. Like, what was that like? Like, what were some of the things over? I guess.
When I first met Shae, like she already had her plan. She already had her money. She already knew who she was, and she already knew where she wanted to go and who she wanted to be. And she was young. You were like 21, right? 21,
Yeah.
22 when I first
Yeah.
met her. So that was like very surprising for me because I never met anybody who like kind of had their shit together. Like she
Yeah.
had all her shit together.
It is rare.
And then I'm looking at her and I'm like, I'm in nightlife, so I see pretty girls all the time. So I was like, oh, she's cute, whatever. But like when she got in her mode and worked, it's like she was here and everybody else was here. And that's what she separated. It don't matter how long people was working or whatever. She just separated herself from the pack like immediately. I'll never forget. We was at Will's and she came in and the liquor used to be it was no organization. She did a full inventory and everything was in alphabetical order.
Yeah.
I was like, God, you answer my prayers. You know what I'm saying? But the power struggle mainly was just like she said, us just trying to like, because I'm a dominant and she's a dominant.
Yeah.
I'm a natural leader and I don't think she ever has been properly led.
Yeah, I mean, from a very young age, I was always like super like just good by myself. I've always been that person to always like know what I wanted next for myself. I never had to depend on anyone. I worked 3-4 jobs. Like I was just all about taking care of myself. Never needed like a man or anybody to kind of come in and help me do that. So, getting into a relationship where I'm having someone tell me about myself, I'm like, nah, nigga, like I'm good. Like you, like I've been,
INDEP.
I've been doing this shit. Like I'm good. But it's all work to its greatest points, and yeah. So
Yeah.
I think I still, in a sense, today still a little bit still struggle with that. Just kind of being. Again, like, okay, reminding myself, like, okay, Shae, like, you're not 21 years old anymore. Like, you now have this man in your life that has been everything that you needed, So it's definitely been a progress, but that's where my power struggle comes from because I was just always like, I'm a forward thinker. Like, I'm always like, if somebody's thinking about next week, I'm thinking about 6 months down the line. I'm thinking about, next year or whatever the case may be. So, having like a man come in and kind of like try to lead me and direct me, like that was never really my thing. So,
I got you.
yeah.
So like, where did that come from though? Did you have like, in terms of like learning that from your past, did you have like role models, family that really kind of, that you looked up to that were like doing business, kind of really had their things in order, or was it really like kind of something that was like really self-taught? And
just definitely self-taught. I mean, my cousin, she was very just super independent. She always just had that go-getter mentality, that forward mentality, and I just knew for me, like the way I am, like, and the person I am, like I always knew, like, okay, like I got to be able to like figure shit out for myself.
Right.
Not in a sense to where like I don't have like the support or anything, because I have a huge support system. But it's just something that I always wanted. Like I always wanted like bigger and better things. Like I never wanted to I never was that person to want to just like be like just still or be just like comfortable. I always wanted like bigger and better things that I knew, like coming from like I'm from Wilmington. So coming from a small hometown, I'm like, this is not where I'm supposed to be. Like I'm supposed to be in the bigger city. So I just knew, like, it was just always in me. Like I always wanted bigger and better things. So
Okay. I think because too, like just knowing her family, they have a lot of independent, strong women.
Yes. Yes.
In their family, like successful. So I think her Aunt Tammy, like she looked up to her.
Yes.
She's like a real boss. Like she don't really need a man.
Yeah.
She's but that's somebody she used to mention. So like when she says stuff like that, I'm like, okay, I see where that comes from.
Yes, I have a lot of strong women.
The women are like the dominant
Yes, my
in
mom,
their
my
family.
sister. Yes.
Oh, her sister Delaney. Shout out to
Yeah.
Dev.
Yes. Yes.
Delaney hair boutique. But yeah, no, her like she said, all of them are like they have dominant personalities.
Yeah.
So when I met her family, I'm like, okay, this all makes sense.
Yeah.
Because it's like the apple don't fall too far from the tree. But they're real bosses though. I mean, most of them are, and they're driven. And Shay's like right there with them.
Yeah. I think pedigree is very important. The last episode I had with Chris, episode 4, we kind of had a conversation about that. And he mentioned his dad and how, his pops always kind of instilled it in him. Like, you'll never want to work for man.
Yeah.
Or not, at least not forever. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, shout out to your aunt. What's her name? Aunt
Tammy.
Aunt Tammy.
Yep, and my sister.
Her Aunt Tammy has a restaurant called Girls with Dough in Wilmington.
Yep.
That's a dope name, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I go check that out.
Yeah, it's good.
So at least take us back to the beginning of your love story. How'd you two meet and where? The beginning. You said 10 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
going
crazy.
almost on 10 years.
It's crazy.
So we actually met through a mutual friend. Okay. At the time, for me, and it was more like an associate. So I was working, I had mentioned I was working like 3 jobs. So I was working a bartending job at this place called Trips. And now it's called Kickback Jacks or something like that.
Yep.
So I had a whole bunch of regulars, and there was this one guy. His name was Kamasi, and he used to
Shout
always
out
come
Kamasi.
in. Yeah, shout out to Kamasi.
My brother.
He used to always come in, and he used to be like, "Yo, like I want you to check out this place called Will's. Like, it's a bartending job. Like you can, go over there, help him out." I'm like, "Nah, like I'm good. I already have like so much shit going on. Like I'm working so many different places." So he just kept like pressing me, like, "I really want you to come to Will's, check it out, da da da." And I'm like, "Bro, like I'm good." So one day I was just like, fuck it. I was like, I'm gonna just go check out this place called Will's. And it was funny because whenever he was saying that, there was another business in Durham called Will's, but it was a skating ring. And I'm like, I'm not about to be working at no fucking skating rink. Like, they sell liquor. Like, I was confused. So I finally went, and then I've never even like saw or even heard of Will's. So I went, and then I was like, okay, like this is dope. Like this is my vibe. So actually, he had set up the meeting with Will, and we had met, and Will had 2 different rooms. Like he had like the main room, and then he had like a little private room in the back. So, I'm not, you can't, it takes a lot to impress me. So he took me back to the little room with all these like glow lights.
I hadn't opened it yet.
I'm like, okay.
I was like, yeah, you're the first one to get to see it.
little flex.
Light flex.
Yeah, so he took me back there. Honestly, when we first met, it was just strictly on like just all business shit. I was actually in the process of getting ready to go out to Atlanta. Like I was flying back and forth to Atlanta, trying to get certified because I wanted to open a bartending school. So I was going out there, and I'm like, yeah, like I'm in the process of, trying to go out to Atlanta. I was really, really big on Atlanta at the time. Now I hate Atlanta. But I'm like, I'm trying to go out to Atlanta. Like, it's cool. Like, what do you need help with? So strictly just like business, like 100%, like strictly business, like nothing more and nothing less. I was actually in a relationship at the time. So yeah, just strictly business. And over time, one thing just kind of led to another, and here we are today, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. So
She told y'all the PG-13. Let me tell y'all the real story.
oh, you got to tell them about the so I'm gonna tell them about the game.
Oh, okay.
So we used to have these little like after work shits or whatever, and Will always says like every time I would run out.
Shae would never stay. Like, how we do like after work kickbacks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Shae would fly out the door. Like she would leave like right on time.
They'd be like, "Shae, come." I'd be
wouldn't
like, "Nah,
stay
I'm
and
not fucking with it."
socialize. Like she would leave. Like I'm talking about not just fast, but like everybody's like, "Where'd Shae go?" She's out of
Yeah,
there.
I had to go. I went
No
to
social,
home.
no flirt with nobody. Like she would strictly work and go.
Yeah. So one day they got me to stay, and we were playing this truth or dare game, and at the time, it was probably some girls in there that Will probably fucked with before. I'm pretty sure.
Nah,
But
they had little crushes.
for some reason, somebody had asked Will. They were like, "Truth or dare?" Will was like, "Truth," and they were like, "Do you think Shae's attractive?" And then like in my head, I'm like, this nigga better. He already know. Like he better fucking. And he goes. Nah, I don't even look at Shae like that. And then I remember, like, my heart dropped. I don't know why it did, but for some
Her
reason,
whole expression.
like, I'm like, this nigga got me fucked up. Like, what does he mean? Like, da. So I'm like, okay, cool. So after that, I'm just like chilling or whatever. And then like maybe like an hour or two has passed, and then Will goes. I think by that time we were all just so drunk. Will goes, okay, everybody, I have a confession to make. And as soon as he said that, I was like,
you know what time it was.
yeah, like, yeah, you better. So, and then I think that's kind of where.
It never went back to being the same after that.
Yeah.
Like, it never went back.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, once we were inseparable after that.
Because people used to always like
put us together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, you know, in the industry that's dominated with male owners, like I never wanted to be the male owner that was like sleeping with the staff.
Right.
That was like my one.
But
like,
you did though.
I mean, obviously, but it was worth it. You know what I'm saying? I played the lottery.
I'm outside of me.
Who?
I'm sad of me. You were probably sleeping with.
Yeah, not there at Will's.
Yeah. Okay.
Nobody in Durham. I'll tell you that much.
Okay.
Like, you might not come back from that.
Okay.
But now, like, I just didn't believe in doing that. But like she said, I mean, it would be time. Everybody wanted to sleep with, you know, it's like a thing. They think they have to sleep with the owner. So it was funny because like it was a lot of girls who had been there longer, and they probably was thinking like, I'm next up or I got a chance. And then she kind of comes out of nowhere, and it was a lot of like animosity toward her, you know. So the funny thing is,
there was always animosity towards me even before it even got to that point.
From the other girls I worked there?
Yeah, just
she
for
brought
no
structure.
reason. Like it was just always like
Tell the
animosity.
podcast some examples. Like what kind of
Like when
petty
I would
stuff.
when I would come into work, like people would just have their nose turned up, or you know, like just making little slick comments, or just you know, just saying. I think one night somebody had like shoved into me, and I was telling Will because they had did it like maybe once or twice. So like the first time I'm like, okay, cool. The second time I'm like, okay, this bitch, this is her second time shoving me, and then the third time I'm like. I think I went to you, Will. I'm like, if she shoves me again, we're going to have a fucking issue because, like, now I feel like she's being funny. You know, girls just do little catty stuff.
Right.
You know, so...
she got fired, by the way.
So, yeah, I mean, just secret... I mean, you probably wouldn't understand to the level I understand because you're not a female, but... If you're a
Slick
female,
conversation,
you know, like
sly
just
comment.
for no reason,
You know.
I've always gotten that, like
Passive
literally,
aggressive stuff,
just little slick shit. So
The rolling of the eyes. So, but in an industry like that was like that, like I feel like that's why I always had the best girls working for me because they knew, we know word gets around. Like if you that type of owner, so like you know they knew I really wasn't that type, and I was at the point I even told Shae like I used to see pretty girls all the time, like the most beautiful ones, and I was like. You see so many, you seen one, you seen two. It's like, I'm not really that impressed. But it was more of like what she did that impressed me than looks. You know, I don't really care about that. But, and then I seen she had good qualities. I'll never forget this. It was a day like I dropped a money bag. And she was like, you got to stop being so clumsy. That was like, wow.
Yeah.
You know, she did some wild things, you know, like I said, organized the inventory.
I maybe took a little bit. I'm saying.
And see, when she met me, I was still working in corporate, so I was traveling all the time. So I would leave her in charge, and every time I would come back, like the money was always good. Everything was always like, I mean, like I said, she was an organized freak, like Excel spreadsheets and what the tip outs were, and everything was matching. So it was just like a certain like element I never had, you know. But the funny thing is, when my friend Kamasi was the same way he was telling her about me, he was telling me about her. He was like, "Will, you got to meet this girl. Like she can come in, she can manage your bar, like this and that." He was just raving about her, and I was like, "Man, come on, bro. Like I wasn't even interested." And then it was like, you know, to this day, I'm forever in debt to him. I always tell him that every time I see him because like he literally changed both of our life.
Yeah.
Because like I was like in this point where I never wanted to be. I was not trying to date. I was not trying to be in a relationship. I just got out of a crazy divorce, so I wasn't trying to like look for nothing else. I was just trying to chill and focus on getting the bag, building the business, building the brand. So like me and Shae was just like completely. This was not planned. Even when we started dating, I'm like, let's just see where it goes.
Yeah.
Right.
I was like, if it go a year, whatever, 2, it's cool. But it's just like
Yeah. There was no
like this was not planned, you know, because I was just thinking like she's young, I'm more established, like we're opposites in that way. Like I'm kind of like on the other side of it, and she's more on the just coming in. So like it was kind of like I feel like it was kind of like that perception or whatever. But I feel like the biggest thing of like how we met, it was like destiny. I tell the story all the time because I was like, Shae actually stopped this.
Yeah.
But I was about to film a reality show, and I was going to be the Bachelor. Like,
What show?
So I had just filmed a show. It was called Cutting in the ATL, and it was about me. Don't Google the show because I never watched one episode. It's so embarrassing. But I was dating the star of the show, and I did like 4 or 5 episodes. And then they wanted to do a spinoff of me and as the owner of the lounge, and they wanted me to go on dates with like all these different girls. So it was like a watered down version of the nigga Bachelorette. Bachelor, no, for real. But they was going to do it as me being a club owner, trying to date different girls, and they had created like a whole storyline for it. And I'll never forget, they were doing interviews, and I think, were you there that day? We hadn't started talking yet, but all the girls from the lounge had got dressed, and they was like doing the casting part. And that's around the same time we were getting close, and then she was like, if you do that show, like, there's no us, you know what I'm saying? And so it was probably like the best decision I ever made, because I feel like I was getting ready to go down a downward spiral. And I'll never forget, like, I went home that night, and I was like, I got on my knees. I'm like, God, like, I'm tired of like being this player, like talking, because it was like a full-time job, like talking to different girls and stuff like that. So I was like, I just want out. This ain't for me.
Right.
Everybody soups it up like it's the thing to be doing, or like it's just such a great flex to have all these women. But to each his own. It just wasn't a me thing. I'm just like, man, like I just want the simple life. Give me one quality one, and I'm good. And I met her the next day.
Wow.
I met her the next day, so it was crazy.
The next day.
That next day I met her, and I tell that story all the time.
That's crazy, man.
So I never knew she was gonna be the one, but I had like
God works in crazy ways.
Yeah.
Wow. So that's nutty, man. But do chicks really be choosing up like that? Like if you're an owner though, like I know a lot of niggas think that, but
well, I tell her this story all the time, so I'm not gonna get in trouble for this. But all right, before we start dating, like sometimes when girls would come in the office to interview, like they would think they would have to have sex with you to get hired. So they would come in there and like you'd be like, hey, have a seat. And they were like, all right, and then they'll just take their top off.
What kind of hoes?
But so when me and Shae first started talking, like the girls used to be overly flirtatious because everybody wants to be your favorite. So it was funny because like she made rules where like when I brought girls in, I couldn't like close the door.
Yeah, because he used to always close the office door, and I'm like, what the fuck do you need to
and stuff?
Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck do you need to be closing the office door?
And I guess they would think like that means it's go time, you know what I'm saying? So sometimes like it'll be girl like she'll come in there and a girl try to have her top down or something,
Real quick, I left the thing downstairs for some more ice, so I'm gonna go grab that real quick.
Okay.
Be right back. Pause. All right, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so we're talking about the relationship. Y'all been together for 10 years, but you've been doing business
Almost
together?
10 years.
Almost 10 years?
Yeah.
But you've been doing business together for 6.
Going on 10 years. So we've been together for, 7 years? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8
years.
8 years. 8 years.
2016.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha. So do you feel like it's kind of brought you closer together than you would have been otherwise if you weren't kind of working in this capacity?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I feel like in this industry, unlike a lot of other industries, and some people may think of it differently, but I feel like you have to have somebody who either A, understands like you're gonna be early morning, late nights, or they gotta be kind of like in the trenches with you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So to me, it works better like having somebody who's like when I look to my left, I look to my right, and we just like working together. Like that's like the most beautiful thing in the world. Like to have something that you created and you get to share it with somebody. To me, like that's the whole like purpose of life. Is to think about all the people in this world. Think about like what state you could be living in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where you could be, and then if you think too far, you could think about like living outside the country.
Mm-hmm.
But out of all the people in the world, like you get to like you have a person.
Yeah.
Like that to me, that's, if you don't believe that God exists, like that's it right there. You know what I'm saying? Because what other explanation would I have to like find somebody who's like my helpmate? You know, and I
Right.
did pray for this, so like it happened. You know, it's like a prayer that's actually answered, and it's like a dream that's actually realized. So I feel like before you even get into like the business stuff, if you just look at it from a surface level, it's just like meeting somebody who matches your like, because it's a lot of things we don't match on,
Right.
but the business is like
Y'all just click though together when it comes
Yeah.
to that. Yeah.
the dream and like the grind. Like
Yeah.
I've never met a male or female that work as hard as this woman ever. Like if y'all only knew, like everybody see what they see on the forefront, and people tell us all the time, "Oh, y'all make it look so easy."
Yeah.
That's what people tell us, but they don't see like 99% of what goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Right.
And then even when we moved to Charlotte, it was so funny because people think that we started here.
Right.
They don't. They
Or
didn't
people
see.
think that this was like our
First venture.
first time. Yeah.
They don't even realize we was already going in 4 or 5 years before we came here. So people will look at us right where we are now, or when we started, and they'll be like, "Oh, they just had instant success." Like, nah, we had to do that. Even like when I met Shae, like I was telling her, I'm like, man, I went years and nobody came through those doors. It took me a year of construction, and I'll tell the story all the time. Every time I went in the barbershop, I'll never forget, barbershop talk. Will, when you gonna be open?
Yep.
You ain't open your spot yet?
Niggas always
And then when
asking,
you walk out, you can hear him laughing like,
Yep.
this nigga ain't gonna never open his spot. So just the doubt, the hate, the fake love, all that stuff like that. Like I had went through so much. And she met me like at a certain time where she walked into the place. She was like, she was one of the rare people that was like, wow, like she saw like how much I put in.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't understand like the sacrifice. They see what's on the nice, pretty surface, but like somebody like her or other people who are in this industry, we don't walk into restaurants and just like think about what we're going to order. We be like, oh, they did the seating right. Oh, they got this many chairs. Oh, the service is good. Like, so
Right.
she came in and she saw immediately like what
Right.
was the value,
She's got that critical eye.
and she saw what was missing.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So I feel like, I don't even know what the question was. I'm going off. But I really do feel like, to me, like, yes, it's challenging. Yes, it has its ups and downs. But like, I wouldn't do this no other way, because like, this is like what dreams are made of. And
Right.
of course, you see the Instagram stories at the end when everybody's driving the Rolls Royces. That should look pretty, but
Right.
they probably grinded like 12, 14 years before they got to them Rolls
Yeah.
Royces. But what I want to say is nothing like having that partner, like that team, that person, like when you really win, like celebrating.
Yeah.
And then when you really losing, somebody to kind of give you a hug, to be
Right.
like, it's gonna be okay and we're gonna get through this.
Someone that understands.
Man,
You know?
Yeah.
yeah, because I really think, to a certain extent, like I think sometimes like, man, if I didn't have that,
Right.
even if sometimes like we both going through it,
Right.
it's still better. You know
Much
what I'm
better.
saying?
Yeah.
It's better than like going through it alone. And I really value that. You know, I think like that's the best thing about like what we have. And
Facts.
I think like that's more valuable than any amount of money. And I
Yeah.
think
I totally agree.
the losses have taught us like how to win. And that's why
Yeah.
I say people laugh at our losses, but they don't understand like we're winning off of our losses. Like we're learning, because 99% of people are not going to take the risk.
Yeah.
They're not going to take the leap. They're not going to give up a lot. We gave up everything.
Yeah.
Right.
She sacrificed. She was already on a trajectory. So she had to have a certain amount of faith and belief in me to understand, like, okay, because she was already, most of her seeds was already planted in Atlanta. And the crazy part about that is I was working in Atlanta. Like, I was going to Atlanta, like 4 times a month?
Yeah.
The corporate job?
Yeah, I was working my corporate job. So
What were you doing?
So I was doing medical logistics. So I was on the top of the food chain, and that was like the hardest thing for me, because I didn't want to leave corporate.
You were doing that and kind of setting up your business and
Yeah.
everything at the same time.
Yeah, and I was making
Go
a
ahead,
bag.
man. Awesome.
I was making a bag too. Like I was on the executive level. Now, I started on the pallet jacks and loading the trucks like people do on Amazon, but I worked my way up to the glass offices. I was right next to the CEO, CFO. I was right up there in the set with them. And Shae used to come to my office all the time, and she used to travel with me for work sometimes. Like, so
That's dope.
it was like really living that life. But if I would have never left corporate, I don't think we would have ever been able to branch out to do anything else. And now looking back at that, like, I laugh because I used to think I was making so much money, but now it's like pennies.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because people don't realize you have to give to get.
Right.
It's not about what you can get, it's what you're willing to give up to get it.
Yeah.
Facts.
So I gave up like a secure job, a check that I used to, when that check stopped coming through, I missed that direct deposit. And I had, even more than the direct deposits, I had perks. Like first class travel, hotels,
Yeah.
floor seats.
Yeah.
You know, so I gave up a lot of perks just to like, so dedicate ourselves 100% to entrepreneurship. But that's what she gave me. I don't think I ever even told her this. She gave me the confidence to do that.
Right.
I don't think I would have ever like stepped out had I not had that. So
Yeah.
That's dope.
how you gonna top that, Shae?
You said it all.
Bro.
You said it all. So
Okay.
Cheers to that.
Word.
Let's pause.
That's dope.
Pause for cause. That was a good one.
yeah, that was good.
But you know what? That actually resonates with me because, you know, I am an entrepreneur, but, you know, I don't own like an establishment or anything like that. At least not yet, right? But all the things I do go through, though, like my corporate job, being in school, you know, running this podcast, doing my DJ thing, doing my bartending business. So I do have a lot going on and I keep my plate full, but I kind of understand like having a partner that kind of understands what you're going through and that's able to walk that walk with you because, I mean, I'm sure you can all attest, like, relationships are hard work.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And, you know, you have to be able to, like, fulfill your partner's needs, whether it's, like, attention, time, and all that. But being able to have someone that works with you, that kind of spends your time together with you all the time, right?
Yeah.
Even when you're working and times of leisure. But I think that's dope, man. You know, it resonates with me from someone who wishes they had that, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Like someone that kind of walks in the same path as you, right?
Yeah.
I grew up in the church. I'm not super religious, but I know there's like the Bible verse about like being equally yoked and things like that. And I think that applies to like much more than just, you know, what it says in the Bible about religion. I think it also comes to like your state of mind, right?
Absolutely.
Your work ethic,
Absolutely.
your grind, your tenacity, like
Yep.
your endurance, and the things that you're able to endure, not only as an individual but as a person.
Facts.
I'm gonna shout out my dentist because I go to a black dentist. I try to like support black-owned businesses,
Absolutely.
but my dentist is all in Rock Hill. But it's a couple.
Yeah.
Shout out to Dr. Harvey and Lori Spencer. I love y'all. But they're a
Shout out.
couple. They run a dental practice together, and you know, you really don't see that kind of setup, especially amongst like black couples.
Yeah.
But you know, I think it's immensely powerful to be able to have a partnership like that.
Absolutely.
And make it
Yes.
work.
100%.
Yeah, for me, I mean, I take it as that who I am today, like Will has played like such a huge part in that because Will met me when I was 20, 21. So he has seen me grow. He's seen my mindset change. He's seen the maturity, and he definitely has a lot to play into part of that to just teach me, you know, just things about, because he had already experienced it. So I think for me, that's the beauty in it for me, because at such a young age, like if I like now I try to instill like those things like within like my niece and my nephew, like, hey, like I want to be able to instill those same things, because at 21, you think you're grown, like you think that's full, you know, adulthood, like you know, but it's not. It's still super, super young. So I was very fortunate, very blessed to, you know, meet Will at such a young age, who has helped me develop me into the woman I am today. So that's the beauty for me, because Will has practically seen me like grow up, literally, you know, right before his eyes. And yeah, so.
Gotcha. Any kids of your own in the future you got plans for, or?
Yeah,
You guys got
5.
the nieces and nephews. You got the
wanna
nieces and
have-
nephews.
Will has 2 boys.
You got 2 kids already?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He has 2
Yeah.
boys. They're
I have-
grown.
yeah,
They're grown.
my
though.
oldest son, he's like 6'6". Shout
Oh,
out to
really?
Will Jr.
Word,
and
okay.
Waylon. Yeah, I have like literally grown kids almost.
Yeah, I've always wanted kids of my own. Again, like years ago, I was like, no, not right now, not right now.
Mm-hmm.
But now that I'm older, I'm like, okay, like I am kind of ready to like,
Yeah.
settle down and have kids of my own, a boy and a girl. So
Gotcha.
hopefully
girl.
somewhere in the future.
You got 2 sons?
Yeah, I don't want to have 4 kids, so we could just, we can have Benzie and a girl.
Okay.
One more. So, one last thing. What is one myth you want to dispel? I know you already said like it wasn't easy, and I know that's a pretty common thing that people may think about yourselves or other folks. But is there anything else that you might think is a myth that you want to dispel about what it's like to work together in this capacity as a couple, especially in business?
Yeah. A myth. I mean, you always commonly hear, don't mix business and personal relationships. And I think it's honestly like what you make it. It's honestly what you make it. I mean, in a sense, there's always going to be downsides to every situation, whether that's personal, whether that's business. But I think it's what you make it, honestly. So
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Somebody told me a long time ago, they said like for every high there's another side to it. So like when you become successful, you there's the hate. When when you do this, when you make more money, they take more money. So for everything there's like a trade-off. So even for like what we do, the benefit is like we get to live out our dreams together.
Yeah.
Like she said, I got to watch her grow and I got to watch us grow because, her growth is my growth. And so I feel like the stigma is that, you can't mix the two. But like she said, it is dependent upon like who you are as a person. Because everything in life, it takes hard work, dedication, and discipline.
yeah.
And if you don't have those things, it don't matter like what you do. It's not going to work. You know what I'm saying? And
I feel like I don't mean to cut you off, but
No,
I
you're
feel
good.
like why wouldn't you want to go through this with the person that you love?
Right.
Why wouldn't you want to do that with fuck the business partner, like going through it with someone that you actually love, that you're in love with, like why wouldn't you? Like
Right.
it's so much beauty in that. So
But I think a part of that, the reason why is like everybody. First of all, we live in a world full of greed,
right.
where everybody wants what they can't have, and people don't know how to, what's the word you always use it? I was gonna say complacent, but it's called. They don't know how to be content.
Yeah.
Like, so I feel like I was one of those people. I didn't used to even value people for who they were because I didn't really care.
Right.
I had to be kind of taught that, so I feel like, especially men, most of the men like are dogs, but it's just like, because we are, so you got some people more focused on the quantity than the quality.
Right.
So I feel like for my situation, I could speak on this now because I could. Before I met her, I couldn't. I didn't even know like what faithful was. You know what I'm saying? I didn't. I didn't even have a clue. And even it doesn't even matter like how good you think you are. Like in this industry we're in, like there's gonna be temptation. Like there's gonna be people who
A whole lot of it.
Yeah, it's gonna be people who I've had to deal with it. I'll never forget like one of her mentors sat down with us before we opened a business together.
Oh, yeah.
And he says, Will, it's gonna be a lot of temptation for you. It's gonna be girls in your face. They're gonna be trying to come in between y'all. It's gonna be guys in her face, ball players, street guys. You gonna have to trust her, and I was like, I'm gonna be good. And then when it happened, I wasn't ready for it. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't, but he was right.
Yeah.
Like we got tested in like every way because some people's primary goal is to break us up or to see us fall.
Yeah.
Like it's more people who want to see us fail than they want to see us succeed. And that's the unfortunate part about like ownership, especially in the African American race, is that we think we have to step on each other to come up when really we can collaborate and come up higher. Because other races are already doing it. But people like to see you fail because it makes them feel human.
Right.
It makes them feel like oh wow, see, look, this is why I stay at my job, is because look at what happened to them.
Yeah.
Not realizing, I don't know if y'all ever seen that meme where the guy is walking up the steps and he's like bouncing down and he bounces back up higher every time.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
little do they realize, like every time you fall and you're up, if you have the right mindset, you're gonna bounce back higher.
Yeah.
So they don't understand, like, people can laugh at our failures, like, oh, this, that, look at this split, oh, look at this place. But we're actually, that's actually us in the gym. And we're lifting heavy weights because those situations aren't easier. Right. And we're out here in the field and we're getting stronger and we're getting better. And you're over there watching. So we just try to like stay focused on, trying to grow and trying to build and try to like, just really keep a positive mindset, because like the thing is, like, people don't like feel good stories.
Right.
They say the good guy finishes last sometimes, but like we are kind of like a contradiction or we go against the grain of what everybody's supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Because most people, think about the most popular stuff out here that makes everybody like love it. It's negative stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Me having a baby with a bottle girl, you know what I'm saying? Her, you know what I'm saying? People, and we don't give that.
Time, yeah.
We be off the grid.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? People don't even know how we move because we move in silence. They don't really see us pop out, because when we pop out, people are like, wow, Will and Shae are out. You know what I'm saying? Because like we really value like our privacy, even though like we say we would never sell our something integrity for celebrity, was it?
Yeah, we would never compromise our
integrity for
the
celebrity.
Yeah.
And I mean, and a lot of people know who we are. We go to different states, like people, hey, Will and Shae, like they know us, you know what I'm saying? But we don't, you kind of know because you've been around us for a while. We don't move like everybody else move. And
Right. That's true.
we kind of like value that about ourselves, but we get a lot of hate for that because people feel like, oh, they think they're better, this and that. And they don't even give us they don't even get the opportunity to get to know us for who we are. They'll listen to what somebody else had to say about us. So that's like I feel like the worst part about like us being like the way we are. And then it's kind of like a weird dynamic. But I feel like it's just people who being misunderstood.
Yeah.
Right.
Because when people get to know us, like, they love us.
Right.
Yeah.
They're like, oh wow, I didn't know they were gonna be this cool.
Hey, but to each his own,
Yeah.
to each his own.
Right.
So
I mean, being that y'all been together for so long, I mean, y'all were talking about people trying to get in between y'all. I mean, do y'all feel like that kind of wears off after a while? Like, or is it just like a constant thing? It kind of refreshes itself?
yeah, I mean it's always a constant thing, but it's something that we have just learned to deal with, and we set those boundaries of what each other would tolerate. So I mean, people try to come between us all the time, every day, but
Word.
you know.
All right, cool.
Shae taught me a lot about that. She said, you are what you allow. So I didn't even know what boundaries were till I met her. But since I've done that, like, it's helped me a lot because, it just protects you from the stuff you can't see. And if you have perspective on something, you're going to see it before it comes versus like letting everything get up on you. And then it's like, it doesn't work so much. So she kind of helped me with that because, again, I was letting too many people in, letting people get too close anyway,
Yeah.
So it's always a good thing. But I feel like the longer you're together and the more successful you become, the harder it gets. It never gets less hard. You just
Yeah.
get stronger and
Yeah.
smarter, and you know how to deal with it
How
better.
to deal, yeah.
So that's the one thing, like, when people like look at us, because we're accessible, people feel like, and we're humble,
Yeah.
people look at us like we're weak,
Yeah.
but they don't know the adversity we go through every single day, and we're very, very strong. And a lot of times they don't see it till we like do something, but really they should have valued it while they had us at a certain level to see it for what it is. Because like the thing is, like, if you don't value something, what's gonna happen? You're gonna lose it.
It's gonna go to waste, yeah.
So I feel like we've lost a lot, but I feel like it was to gain something like greater. And the hard part about success is growth is, especially like when you're doing it on a level, because I felt like I feel like when I started out, it was slow. But when me and Shae got together, like, we kind of like shot up fast. And so I'm gonna tell you the crazy part. A lot of people never seen that coming.
Yeah.
You want to know they didn't see it coming? Because we ain't even see it coming.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like you just start seeing like a lot of like envy and stuff that you wouldn't expect from people that you like really like fuck with. You like, man, like we brothers, this and that. But it's like they don't like the fact you did what you did, but they don't understand what you gave up to get it. Like I said earlier. So I feel like if you ask me what was the most unexpected thing, is that we would have to take a lot of this journey alone.
Yeah.
I thought a lot of people we came up with would come, we could all just elevate together because we all had the same trajectory.
Right.
But it's like we've lost more than what we gained.
Right.
But you know what happens? I always heard the analogy. They said when you're going to the top, you got to shed that dead weight.
Yeah.
Facts. True.
Dang, I'm preaching, man. Y'all getting these?
I was gonna say like we'll be having like
Pass
all
the collection
gems,
plate, yo. These is
Yeah.
bars. Yo.
all the gems, all
He
the
does.
outros,
He
man.
does. He does.
Yeah.
And just know, like this is from the heart.
Yeah.
Like when I speak real, I'm speaking like real life experience. Shae know.
Yeah.
I pour into her every day. I feel like she got the most. She gets the best of me.
Yeah.
Because I say the best stuff to her, and I don't feel like I even share it for anybody else. But
Yeah.
it's real.
Yeah.
Right. All right. All right, I want to shift gears a little bit. I did have a little game. I know, Shae, you saw the questions that I wanted to play.
Yeah, we could do a little bit of the
just
questions.
a
Yeah,
few.
let's break
just a
the-
few.
let's break the
make it
ice a little
fun,
bit.
Okay.
We've been too
Switch it
serious
up a
on this
little
thing.
Okay.
All right, so this is called How Well Do You Know Your Partner? Right? And, just a couple questions I came up with.
I know everything.
Right?
You say you know me.
A little bit of like, some romantic stuff, but also like some business stuff, right? Now I was trying to like figure out exactly how to do this at the last minute just now, but in terms of like your answers, maybe put your answer for your partner. So I'm gonna ask you questions about what you think about your partner,
Okay.
right? They're gonna know because it's gonna be about them, right? So you put the answer for your partner on top
Okay.
in a circle,
Okay.
and then maybe put your answer for yourself
For yourself. Okay.
maybe on the other side or
Okay,
something on
perfect.
the white blank side,
Okay,
and then
perfect.
we'll look at
Both.
the answer for your partner on it first, and then switch it over to see who got it right or whatever.
Okay. Okay.
Sounds
Perfect.
good. All right, got some index cards here. I'm gonna give you some.
So partner on the lines and then ourself on the white block. Okay.
I
Perfect.
wasn't paying attention, but I'm
Okay. So I'll tell you.
We'll just do a couple of these.
Okay.
Go to the next segment. All right.
So what are we doing?
I'll tell you whenever he answers.
All right.
Whenever he asks.
Oh,
the
he got to
question.
ask it first.
Yep. So, I'll say real quick. Answer for your partner on the lines. Answer for yourself on the back. It's gonna be questions about each other. All right. So, question number 1: what is your partner's biggest pet peeve about running a nightclub? Go.
Okay. Will, come on, you gotta be quicker than that.
All right. I'm a little
Time's up.
Okay.
All right,
I had
I
some music going. You couldn't hear it. But,
Okay.
All right.
all right. Partners up first. Let's see. Shae says,
When niggas get in my face.
okay. Good
Oh, I
answer.
think I did it wrong. So I'm writing what hers is on the back.
Well, either way, it doesn't matter. It
Yeah.
was supposed to be on the line side, but
Yeah.
show
Oh, I
her.
did it wrong.
Yeah, it's okay. Show us that side first.
Can you read that?
Guys in her face.
Good job. All right. Well, you got it right. What was yours though? Did you write yours down? Or?
I put vice versa.
Vice versa?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Same thing. All right. Okay. Next question.
So put hers on the line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep,
I got
yep,
it
yep,
right.
yep.
And
Next
mine on
question.
the back.
Okay. So you're at the bar and a guest offers to buy your partner a shot. What is the one liquor that they cannot have? They absolutely cannot have.
What is the one liquor?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
this is easy.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm ready.
your partner side up first.
I said don't give Will nothing because this nigga is not a drinker.
I said Henny.
You
Henny?
don't
Remember the Henny night?
Don't you said I can't drink Henny?
Well, I said it for both of us. It's the same thing.
I said I can drink anything. Okay, I can drink anything.
You can't drink. You can't drink no Henny.
I can drink anything, but don't give Will anything because he's not a drinker.
That's a cop out.
Will just started drinking yesterday. Will is a square. He used to
Oh,
never fucking do anything before.
I didn't used to cuss before I met Shae.
Yeah, he never used to cuss. He never used to
cussed.
do anything. So now. Will just started drinking yesterday. You know, he does little
life.
edibles every now and then. He may hit the blunt every now and then.
Crazy.
But yeah, Will's a square at heart.
Okay.
Yeah, I made him a bad boy.
Facts.
All right. Next question. Okay. You're in the club. What is the one song that if a DJ plays, the one song your partner is gonna stop dead in their tracks and start busting moves to?
Okay.
You done?
Yeah, I'm done.
All right, I'm done.
Ready? All right.
Hers on the front, right?
Yep.
That's what I put.
Wipe Me Down or Boosie. I put any twerk song, but that's good. And I put Dougie.
Dougie.
Yeah.
Dougie.
That's Will's song.
All
Will
right.
loves
Dougie, baby.
I don't even know the words.
My Dougie.
Yeah, that's Will's song.
Shout out to all my DJs.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, we'll do one more.
Okay.
And then we'll move on. All right, so your partner wants to host a guest celebrity at the club.
Uh-huh.
Who is that person? Who's it going to be?
I should know this.
Oh, shit. Okay. A guest celebrity. Oh, man, that's hard. That's super hard. I'm trying to think of who always says that. I don't know.
I'm gonna have to guess on this one.
That's hard. Okay.
All right, time's up.
Okay.
Ready?
That was hard for me. The baby, that's who I would want.
The baby. Okay.
Okay.
Who do you say?
I put Stallion, Megan Thee Stallion.
You put Megan Thee Stallion. That was hard for me. I was trying to figure out.
Should have guessed.
Yeah.
Probably would have got it right.
All right.
You failed epically.
I would probably say Boosie, but we've had Boosie before,
Yeah.
so
That was fun.
we've had
Yeah,
him.
for sure.
Yeah.
Shout out to Boosie.
Yes.